Coming to you from that once-forgotten artery that pulses through the center of the continental United States and into the heart of the Ozarks, Grace Matthews. Looking in from the northern border, our Canadian friend, along with his countrymen feeling the effects of U.S. political issues, Connor Murphy.
Welcome to Dueling Dialogues, episode 173. I'm Connor Murphy, here with Grace Matthews in a war-torn Missouri. Hi, Grace. Glad you're okay.
Oh. Yes. The big cherry tree fell in the house. Yeah. Actually fell in my office/studio.
Yeah.
So that's why we've been gone.
Well, yeah, I've missed you.
I've missed you.
Yeah, just glad you guys are okay. And what a hassle. I'm so sorry that had to happen to you guys.
Yes, it is a hassle. But I've got everything set up in the dining room.
Okay. All
right.
A
little bit of echo, but...
Yeah, a little bit, but we can deal with that.
Yeah,
It's just, I'm just glad that, you guys are all okay, because that could have been much worse.
Oh, it could have been. And there are people in the area that are much worse.
Right.
They said in just a month, we had 29 tornadoes in the area.
Ah, wow.
So that's a lot. There's a lot of people with their houses are absolute pancakes.
Unbelievable. That is pretty sad.
Yeah, it is very sad, and we're thankful we can even still be in our house. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Glad that you're okay.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Let me tell you, are going crazy.
Yeah, they get crazier and crazier. I can't believe that, but that's what's happening.
Well, and rarely can they keep a secret in Washington.
Of course.
And when they do, we're always taken aback.
Yeah.
Like, wow. But Attorney General Barr has put John Badass Durham in charge of investigating the investigators.
Uh-huh.
The beginning that the Mueller investigation left off.
Right.
A lot of people leave things off at the end. Rarely do they leave things off at the beginning.
Well, it's about time, because you and I have been talking about this, having some justice for a couple of years. And this is pretty serious. This is way worse than Watergate ever was. And nothing? Really?
Yeah. And statutes have to be getting ready to run out on some of this. I don't know what the statutes are on some of these issues.
I think it's going to depend on charges.
That's exactly right. But you're talking, some of this is 2 and 3 years old already.
Right. But hey, when you're talking treason, I don't think there's a statute of limitations.
Probably isn't on treason. I don't know if what of this rises to the level of treason, but I do know that this John Durham has a history of taking down people who are corrupt, and I'm talking about law enforcement, FBI, police department, CIA.
Oh, wow. So he's got some big balls, so to speak.
He does. I mean, he's the one that got to the bottom of all the people being bought off by in Boston.
Ah, okay. Sounds like he's the right guy then.
He is definitely the right guy.
Good.
And my guess is that when A.G. Barr was sitting in front of the Senate, a couple weeks ago, he already has information from John Durham.
Ah, there you go.
Now, what I think is interesting is when Christopher Wray was asked about spying, if he would call what happened in Trump Tower and to the Trump team during the campaign was spying, he said he wouldn't. My question is, and of course, when did he learn about Durham? When did the current FBI director, Christopher Wray, learn about Durham? Because I guarantee you he didn't know. I don't know. last Thursday when he was answering questions.
Wow, a secret in Washington. Imagine that.
Well, yeah, and everybody says that Trump can't keep a secret. Well, let me tell you, Trump administration has kept a lot more secrets.
Yeah. Yeah. The funny thing is when the administration lets out a bit of information, we think that totally crazy. What? Somebody really, tapped Trump Tower. How ridiculous that sounded.
Yeah.
It turns out to be true later on.
Yeah, and there's been several things like that with Trump.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can't underestimate this guy. I mean, he gets there, it's a little rough and tumble, but somehow he does and knows some amazing things.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. Okay, here's some sad news. Nearly half of U.S. Democrats are for and endorse socialism.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that on social media. Yeah. I would have guessed it as more than half.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me if there's a lot of people that don't admit it on a poll.
When
they get in the voting, they would.
That may be skewed, though, because I do have a lot of people on my Facebook that have Trump Tourette syndrome. Mm-hmm. But I keep them around just for entertainment purposes. Well,
yeah, it's cheap entertainment. Just lots of popcorn.
And it's fun to post and drop sometimes. Just post something it's going to drive them crazy.
All riled up.
And then ignore all the notifications around it. And all the name calling.
Yeah, that's basically what I do a lot on Twitter, though.
Right.
Okay, are we writing the interview in the American Fire?
Good question. What it is doing is fighting the Democrats, fighting the vote. So it's just handing another term to Trump.
Well, it is. To win the primary, these numbers will tell us you've got to be a socialist.
Yeah, pretty much.
So you win the primary and you go up against Trump. You can't have any socialism.
Yeah.
To win. So basically, yes, they're handing him the election.
Yeah, I can see that. Definitely.
And I think that's why they would love to impeach him before then.
They'd sure like to try.
It's really their only hope.
Yeah. And yet there's no evidence. So good luck with that.
Do people not think about playing into someone else's field? Kind of like that. All these socialists coming up and they're basically electing Trump again, which is the thing they want the least.
Exactly.
Okay, here's another example. The heartbeat abortion law in Georgia. Let me first point out that Georgia is like the 7th state that has it. This is not outlawing abortions. This is saying you need to do it before the doctor detects a heartbeat.
Right, exactly.
Okay. Well, really, I don't think that's that bad because back in college, I knew a couple of people that had to get abortions, maybe more than a couple. You know what? They knew right off the bat.
Yeah.
I have to get an abortion or I'm going to get one.
Right.
Okay, that gives you about 6 weeks.
Right.
So nobody's saying you can't get an abortion. They're just saying
you got to do it early.
Exactly.
Before the fetus is a baby.
And one thing that the right-wing groups have always said is if you hate abortion laws, don't make babies. Abstinence is a good idea. There's lots of birth control out there. Don't get pregnant.
Yeah.
It's the best way. And I think no matter what side of the coin, you have to admit, wouldn't you rather just not get pregnant?
Yeah.
Even if it's about spending the money.
Right.
Okay. So, Alyssa Milano and Bette Midler says, let's all give up sex in protest of the heartbeat abortion law.
I know. Oh, sex
Which is
is.
what the Christians have been saying for years. Just don't do it.
Well, I think probably sex is the only thing they're still good at. Could be. You know. I don't know.
I don't know. And then they came back and clarified with men.
Oh.
Here we go again.
Oh,
Those
okay.
bad men. Men are bad. You
Oh,
know.
wow.
Yeah, I
All
mean,
right.
yes, it's okay for women to have sex with women, but don't do it with a man.
Yeah. Well, I really don't care what anybody from Hollywood says.
That's true.
Yeah. I think it's funny because I think the right just has the same thoughts that I have as, who cares what you think in Hollywood? You're not a role model that anybody should be following.
Exactly. I'm not sure anybody follows them. I kind of think people mock them.
On the right,
Even
absolutely.
Even the people on the left a little bit. I was looking at Alyssa Milano's, sex thing. And I don't know how long it had been up there, but, it really didn't have much action.
Right. Nobody
For
cares.
somebody that's so high profile.
Yeah.
And how do you know she's not having sex?
Yeah.
Really? How do we know? I mean, parents have been trying for years to figure out when their kids do. Okay?
Exactly. Yeah. Well.
I don't know. Of course, a lot of the Hollywood people put cameras in the rooms, so.
Yeah. They, which is a reason we should not be following them or giving a shit what they say.
Exactly. That's the last thing I want to see myself doing.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's something we all have to care about a bit. China pulled out of the tariff deal. Now, I think they were jumping the political gun. Okay, they had agreed to a lot of the tariff. I don't know, the deal
Right.
that Trump was trying to get them to agree to.
Right.
There were some things they hadn't agreed to, some they had. Okay, the other day, when the polls come out and Biden looks good, they decide to pull out.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, it's way too premature for that.
Well, I believe that Canada is up in Washington right now trying to figure this out together because we're basically in the same boat. China's not buying soybeans from you guys. It's not buying canola oil from us and canola and some of the other grains as well. So it's really, really hurt this country, especially our farmers, which is a scary, scary thing. And,
Exactly, and that's who it's hurting here.
Yeah, that's like basically I'm an agricultural boy from the heartland of Saskatchewan, farming land. So I kind of tend to read a lot of those articles, and the farmers in North America have been getting some of the worst blowback from all of this tariff stuff, and it's really concerning, very concerning.
Well, I agree. But I did like the rhetoric that started coming out yesterday. From a consumer basis, they said, buy things that are from China. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Buy it from India. Now, India, there are a lot of countries that are growing and becoming more middle-class consumers. One of them is India, one of them is Vietnam, among others. How quickly can we take care of our farmers in the same way as we can take care of ourselves as consumers?
Right.
On this tariff deal.
Exactly.
Can the farmers, because the population in India is just insane, and they got some money to spend.
Right.
So can we get that soybean and that canola oil sold to, India, Indonesia, Vietnam,
Right.
and some of these other growing middle class, I'm calling them middle class consumers.
Right.
I hope so, because China does cheat everyone.
Yeah, and it's interesting we seem to be in the same fight as well, because we're still trying to fight the tariffs that Trump posed on our steel and things like that. So steel and lumber, I think that's going to be rolled into the same deal as we, or dealt with as we kind of butt heads with China together. So,
well, you guys don't need another hat. I mean, we reported last time, I think it was, that a lot of Canadians are hurting.
Oh yeah.
As Americans are becoming more prosperous under Trump.
Right.
And our economy is good as per people. I don't think your companies as much as people are.
Absolutely. You are correct. We're paying almost $9 a gallon for gasoline. So for a working person that has to travel to and from work, that's going to hurt.
Oh, a lot. That's just insane.
Yeah.
So something's got to give, because I can't believe that Americans and or Trump want Canada to be weakened, especially economically. It's really, what advantage is it to us?
Yeah, we just have to hold on until the next election, and things will change.
Yeah, you've got an election issue in October?
October, yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
And
hip, hip, hooray!
Yes, can't come fast enough.
Yeah,
very interesting. We had another by-election in my hometown here, and the Green Party won, which actually is a good friend of mine that was running for the Green Party. So we are seeing the rise of the Green Party. Another province just elected 13, I believe, from the Green Party. So they formed the official opposition. But our entire country, province by province, other than Newfoundland, is progressive conservative now, essentially. Wow. It is non-liberal. So
yeah, you guys are learning.
Yeah, we are.
Okay, let's talk about one of our other favorite subjects, Comey.
Oh yeah, okay.
Remember him?
Yes.
He's been fired 2 years. Last weekend was his anniversary for being fired. So he did a little town hall meeting with Anderson Cooper. And I like Anderson. He's about the only thing I like at CNN, but I'm starting to not like him. I don't know.
No, I've stopped watching CNN about 3 years ago.
Well, I haven't watched him in at least 3 years. So. Anyway, why is he commenting on FBI operations? Now, if I quit a job 2 years ago, I certainly do not have the information to still be commenting.
Yeah, absolutely. And didn't he sign an NDA? Like, should he even be commenting?
He is so arrogant. I even had a guy on my Twitter say, well, surely he still has security clearance. Well, some of those guys did, and Trump put an end to it. So I don't believe he has security clearance.
No.
Okay, that's just not Trump's way.
But he's still flapping his gums.
He is. And heaven help us if nothing's changed since he left 2 years ago.
Right. Yeah. Well, I believe he's one of the members of the Deep Swamp, so it's making sense why CNN would have him on TV.
Yeah, he's definitely, And there's a lot of people talking about how he's been on TV and done so many interviews that he's contradicting himself.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And how's that going to turn out when he does some testifying?
Yeah, I wonder.
He already couldn't remember. How many times did he say, I can't remember?
Can't remember. Yeah. Selective memory.
200. Yeah. So he can remember when he's not, when he's on CNN, he can remember all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. What about the subpoena for Don Jr. to testify again? Well, it'll be his first time in front of the Congressional Committee, but he testified for 20 hours with Mueller.
Right.
Now, if that's not bad enough, we had a Republican senator, Burr of North Carolina, join the Democrats to subpoena him.
Yeah. I don't know. Really. They got the Mueller report. Why is this continuing? It sounds like a trap to me.
It is a trap, and Lindsey Graham said plead the fifth. Because if they ask you what you had for breakfast on the second Tuesday of the week, and you tell them something different than you told Mueller's group, you've got perjury, and if you think they want to put Don Jr. away,
right,
they'll find a way. They may not, the Republicans may be a little lack, they're a lot lack in putting people away, but the Democrats do it well.
Yeah.
So now everybody wants Lindsey Graham to step down, as if that would happen.
Yeah, they'll listen. They'll listen to the Democrats this time. Ridiculous.
It's crazy. And this is crazier. Now, Sports Illustrated. I've always thought that the swimsuit issue was a little bit of a stretch, but I'm okay with it. I don't care. Swimming is a sport, so I can see how you can go the swimsuit issue in a sport, even though, like I said, it's a stretch because it's really about modeling.
Right, exactly.
Not quite as centerfold because, that would be like what, Playboy, Hustler. Even Playboy has quit the nude, haven't they?
I have no idea. I didn't even know they were still around.
They were going to quit, so, but that's been a while. So, nevertheless, Caitlyn Jenner, who used to be Bruce Jenner, they're going to do a nude layout in Sports Illustrated.
Wow.
And what makes me mad, I'm not a customer, so I don't care, and I'm certainly not against Caitlyn Jenner or Bruce Jenner. I loved Bruce Jenner when I was a kid. I thought, he was amazing, and I'm okay with him being Caitlyn Jenner. I don't care.
I can't wrap my head around that because now what guy in the world can buy that?
Well, absolutely, and here's the deal. So they have all these subscribers that are going to raise hell, and instead of saying, okay, this isn't what my subscriber wants, they don't want nude anybody, they're going to call it discrimination against Caitlyn Jenner.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Because that's where we're at these days.
Yeah. I heard that Caitlyn Jenner was pissed off that none of her kids wished her a happy Mother's Day.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know if that's true, but that was circulating the media yesterday all day long.
Well, that's sad. That's kind of sad for the kids.
First
it's a choice you're making. In a way, it's not a choice. I understand that. But when you expect your kids to know how you're feeling about anything, that's going to blow up in your face.
Yeah.
You're sad about a friend dying, and your kids are not necessarily going to get it.
Right.
Because that's the nature of children. So,
yeah.
I think that's a little narcissistic to be that upset about it.
Now, the only thing that makes sense in my head is that they're trying to drop the stock price of Sports Illustrated so low that somebody can swoop in and grab it up and make it all better.
That would be nice, really.
Well, it's ridiculous because you don't insult your customers, and at this point, it's a slap across the face as far as I'm concerned.
But we see a lot of them doing it. It reminds me of the New York Times and the anti-Semitism.
Right. Yeah.
The anti-Semitic cartoons. To me, it's the same thing. You're kicking your customer in the face, and you're saying, you're daring them to leave.
Yeah, it's almost like they're taunting or trolling their own customers.
Exactly. Speaking of trolls, anytime you comment on something that Trump says, and several other high-profile people on Twitter, you got these trolls coming out, and I've noticed that usually they want to insult your intelligence or pretend you don't have any, pretend you're not educated, you're not very smart, and they will plug you
Right.
and whomever it is that you're commenting on, and they'll add a couple, three high profile, names.
Right.
And then you look at them and you realize they have 3 or 4 followers.
Yeah, fake accounts,
So really,
trolls. Yeah, paid trolls.
exactly. And that's what I'm being told, that these people are being paid by the likes of Soros and others.
Right.
But I'm not kidding. You say something about on Trump's, it doesn't even have to be really an endorsement. And they are on you within seconds.
Yeah, that's
So
why.
they sit there all day and they just stare.
Yeah, that's why you can tell that, they probably are being paid. And it reinforces what I say, post and drop. Forget about it. Post what your thoughts are and leave. Don't look
Exactly.
back at it again.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I've started to only comment in the groups that have the same sort of views that I do. If I comment on something by a newspaper, media outlet, I've got friends jumping down my throat. So I only do it in closed groups now, and groups that have my views, and it's nothing but support there. So
Unless you want to have a little fun. I know that sometimes you do that on purpose.
yeah, I do that. I am totally guilty. Usually if I post something political, it's some sort of joke or some sort of humor around it. So, that I'm consistent there. I'm not just going to post there's going to be a joke in what I post. So
Absolutely. And there's been a lot of, I don't know whether it's speculation or people really know. For example, Dean Cain suggested that Alyssa Milano was given scripts of stuff to post. Okay.
Oh.
And then sometimes she wildly acts on her own, like the sex thing.
Right.
And it's stupid.
Well,
I mean, that you can tell the difference if you really watch her. I don't. But my question is, Rob Reiner is quitting everything.
Huh.
Okay? He's not going to do anything else through the election. He's going to put all of his energy into making sure Trump isn't reelected.
Oh, good luck there, Rob.
Surely he's made enough money, but do you suppose he's one of Soros's lackeys?
Yeah, and I'm wondering if Alyssa Milano isn't either, because is she even working? Has she even worked in the last 10 years?
I haven't seen her in anything since Charmed.
Yeah.
But, that's been probably close to 15 or so.
So, yeah, I think she did a couple B movies that were horrible flops.
Well, and she might have, but Dean Cain, the actor, who is still acting and working, said that this is really just a part for her, this Twitter stuff she puts on, and that the party or those, assets of the party
Yeah.
write the script for her. And then every now and then she gets all cocky and goes out on her own, and you can kind of tell because what she does doesn't make sense.
And you know what? That makes sense to me.
There's a lot of Hollywood people. Now, surely Rob Reiner doesn't need the money, but you have to wonder because a lot of what they do seems like they read the same script.
Right. Yeah, it's too coordinated.
So is Rob Reiner one of Soros's boys?
Yeah. Well, he just may be returning to his old role as Meathead.
Exactly. He's acting a little like a meathead. And, sometimes the Republicans can be like meatheads.
Right.
Okay? You really got some things out there. Some situations where Democrats have done some really bad things.
Right.
And it seems like we figure it out that they do it, We see that they do it, but we can never do anything about it. So, what's up with that? We don't out the opposition when we figure out that they're corrupt. We drop the ball, in the last second of the game.
Well, it's slightly similar in Canada. I mean, we've got our deep swamp, and that's pretty obvious. I mean, the obstruction of justice, and not only one case, there's another case that is happening in Canada around a big Navy scandal, and Norman is the naval fall guy in Trudeau's little scam, and now Trudeau's trying to blame it on the former prime minister that he did this all, apparently. And no, nice try, but they basically used Norman as a scapegoat, and now it's coming back to bite them. They've dropped the case against Norman because Norman's lawyer subpoenaed the Trudeau's office for communications and things like that. They refused to give it to them. So on that right there's no way they would have won the case against Norman, because they're obviously withholding some sort of corrupt evidence. That court case has been given up, and now there's a lot more questions about what Trudeau's been doing.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
I don't know either, but I'm hoping, in light of Durham and other things, I realize we lost Congress, and the Democrats have the majority, but the law is the law.
Yeah, but
and
there
we have
seems...
the Senate, and we have this Durham on the case now. Why don't we follow through?
Yeah, there seems like this is in Canada too. It seems like there's a separate law that protects these people, or some sort of hidden law. So there's...
Or they make it up. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, a lot of elected officials, especially on the left, and you can go through and read what they're saying, they kind of sort of are redefining the Constitution.
Pretty much. Allowing themselves to do anything and get away with everything. So
yeah, it's like parsing words and
disturbing. Very disturbing.
Saying things that aren't even true.
Right.
But there are some gifts on the left. The gifts they keep on giving, like AOC.
Yeah.
She, every time she opens her mouth, she gains another segment of voters for Trump.
And probably kills a bunch of brain cells in her followers at the same time.
Trump never had such a good supporter.
Yeah, she's essentially just campaigning for him, I think, because I read this morning that she was going after Bernie for something.
Well, yeah, last weekend she was with Bernie.
Yeah, so...
And,
I don't know.
Bernie is losing people faster than, so fast to make your head swim. He came out strong, of course, in 2016. He might have won.
Yeah.
The DNC not bashed him.
Yeah.
However, he came out strong here a few months ago. But he's losing it because even the millennials are starting to say, yeah, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
He's very old.
Yeah. Is he going to last?
Both are very old. Bernie is a year older than Biden. I mean, he's got a lot more spring in his step than Biden does.
But
these two guys are old, and they're old white guys. And I thought that's what they didn't want.
Yeah, exactly. So, I don't know. What's there, 22 Democrats running now? Something like that?
It's up to 23, and they think de Blasio is going to get in from New York, the New York mayor. So
we've kind of talked about that before. He's been doing some bizarre things. I think that's in preparation for possibly running.
Oh, my gosh. He has Trump derangement syndrome. Of course, half of New York does.
Yeah, for sure.
They loved Trump till he started running for president.
Yeah.
So... I don't know. But just a little word about the Varsity Blues college.
Scandal.
Yeah, talk about scandal. Felicity Huffman, she did plead guilty.
Right.
Another day in court. I believe it was Monday. She'll be back for sentencing in October. Now, her deal was she paid $15,000 to a guy. I know it was a guy. That's all I know. To, alter her daughter's SAT test.
Right.
So she could get into school. They say that they believe she'll get 4 months and have to pay $20,000 and maybe some community service. My question is, do we need for Felicity to do jail time? Now, I've never watched anything she's in. I mean, put an ankle bracelet on her. When you take $15,000 to correct her daughter's test compared to $500,000 Lori Loughlin spent falsely putting her daughters in school, falsifying the test, and falsifying the fact that they were on a crew team.
Well, when you compare the money Felicity paid with what Lori paid, how much stupider is Lori Loughlin's kids than Felicity Huffman's? That's the question. It must be enormous.
Oh, that's sad. Yeah, we definitely agree there.
Yeah, and I do agree with you absolutely on that. I don't think she should do jail time. I think bracelet.
I don't think it gets us anywhere.
Yeah.
I don't, you know. And I think what they did was really bad. I have kids, that have had to go to school the hard way. In fact, the whole family has. So, but putting Felicity in jail and us footing the bill isn't doing us any good.
No, I totally agree
I'm
there.
not going to feel better about myself because she's in jail.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
And we don't always agree, but life's a journey and we're all in this together. Thanks for listening. Godspeed, Connor. Godspeed to all of our friends out there.
Godspeed, Grace, and thanks for listening, everyone.